One of the easiest ways to add decoration to your journal is through doodling, though I know for some people the idea of doodling can be a little bit daunting. Some of the doodles that we see on Instagram and the like can be quite complicated and a little bit overwhelming. For that reason, my favourite type of doodles are the icon style doodles that are super simple and kinda cute. Hello again team, it's Jess or JashiiCorrin, and today I'm going to be taking you through some different icon style doodles you could use in your journal. The only piece of equipment I'll be using today is a black pen, which means the things we're doing today can be achieved by anybody, regardless of how much of an artist you think you are. Before we jump into looking at different doodles, I just wanted to give you guys a little throwback. So back in January, as part of the JC Doodle Challenge on Instagram, our prompt list for the month was all themed around doodling icons. The icons I picked as part of that were intended to be ones you could use in your journal, so they could be used to represent different things. So having a look through those ones, we've got these ones here, the ones up in these headers, down the side on this one, and again up in the headers for this one. You can see that for each of these I did keep them quite small and quite simple. And that's what I'm aiming for when I'm doing an icon style doodle. The things that I mostly like to use these ones for are on my habit trackers to represent my different habits. So for example, in February as part of my health tracker, I had a little sun to represent getting up early, a little water drop to represent my water intake, a little phone to represent getting off my devices at a reasonable time, and then a little moon to represent going to bed at a reasonable hour. So as I mentioned, when I draw these icon style doodles, I want them to be simple enough that they're really easy to draw, but also simple enough that I can draw them really small. What I'm going to do now is lay down some icon doodle ideas on this page here, and then I'll come back at the end to talk you through some of the ones we've got. For the doodles I'm doing here, some of them come from my January doodle challenge, while others I've seen done before, or I've just picked up in various places. Although I loosely tried to keep these icons in themed groups, about 2 lines in I just start doodling icons of the first things that come to my head. There are heaps of places that you can look for icon doodle inspiration. Some of the obvious ones would be videos like this, and just general Google and Pinterest searches. A couple of my favourite places to find icon inspiration are iconographic fonts like Symbol, Webdings1through3, Raphaelcons, Font Awesome, Sosa, and more. One of the hands down best places to find inspiration though would be the emojis on your phone. Although I didn't include any emotive emojis in this video, the ones with the facial expressions, these can be a really good place to start if you're just testing the waters with icon doodles. Most people don't need a reference image to draw a smiley face. The nice part about emojis is that they're already small, so you can see which features are important to draw out to make them look like what they're supposed to look like. For the doodles we're doing here, we're looking for simple line work, not colouring or shading, though you can include that if you wanted to. If you can draw out a bunch of lines and have your doodle look similar to the thing it was supposed to look like, I'll call that a successful doodle. As can be assumed, and if the sheer number of emojis we have on our phones didn't give it away, this list of icon doodles is not exhaustive. Most things could be turned into an icon style doodle. It's really just about picking out the important features and then using those to define the doodle's shape. The ones I'm doing here are roughly 2x2 grid spaces, so there isn't really enough room to add a whole lot of detail. Picking the details that really showcase what I'm trying to draw is what I'm aiming for. As I've mentioned before, I like to use icon doodles to represent habits on my habit tracker. Some of my favourites would be the little bed icon for making my bed, or a little clock for habits that are time dependent, a little set of dumbbells to represent exercise, or a little apple to represent schoolwork. I like the little mop for cleaning or tidying. I've also used icon doodles to represent things on my monthly review pages. So for instance, the TV icon to represent favourite TV shows from the month, or the little projector for movies and a book for books read. Previously, I've drawn a little hand for giving or charity, 2 little stick figures holding hands for time spent with my partner, a heart to represent friends and family, There's a decent few ways that these doodles can be used not only for decoration, but also for function. My preference is to use them functionally, but they can be a really nice way to add personal touches to your journal as well. Here we go. So I tried to kind of keep it in themes. So you can see we've got like weather icons up here, and then I started doing some food icons here and stuff. But I did kind of let my mind just take me wherever it went. Some of these would have more function than others. So for instance, if you like to track your weather, then the weather icons can be quite helpful. Whereas the ghosty icon might only been used a few times a year. As you can see, a lot of these aren't overly detailed and they are pretty forgiving. So for example, these grapes down here, they're just a bunch of random little circles stuffed together in a shape that kind of looks like a bunch of grapes. Essentially, a successful doodle is one where somebody who doesn't know what you're drawing can pick what it was that you drew. So if you're drawing a star and it looks like a star, then you've done your doodle right. Of course, this is not an exhaustive list, and as I mentioned before, there are plenty of places you can go to find more inspiration for different styles of doodles. At the end here, I started to draw out some clothing doodles. And of course, there's plenty of different styles of clothing, so of course there's plenty of different styles of clothing doodles you could do. All in all though, I hope this has been helpful. If there are any of these that you think would be particularly helpful for you, let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and if you liked today's video, feel free to go check out another one. Until next time, bye!